Hi guys, today's video is going to be another DIY room decor video. If you haven't seen my last one, be sure to check that out. I will have it linked down below for you in the description box. But I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's just get started. Starting off with this lampshade, this is a really great way to decorate an old lamp. You're going to need a lampshade. I personally didn't already have one, but like I said, you can always use one that you already have. Some scissors, a hot glue gun. My dad was lucky enough to find this at the dollar store and it works amazing. Some glue sticks, I would recommend at least about 10. And a yard and a half of burlap. And lastly, an iron and an ironing board. The first thing you're going to need to do is cover the entire lampshade in a piece of burlap. So you're going to need to just measure it. I just kind of held it up to the lampshade and made a little mark, and then I cut out the piece that I would need in order to fit over the entire lampshade, and then you're just going to hot glue it to the actual lampshade. Next, you're going to take the rest of the burlap that you have and you're going to begin cutting it into strips. Mine are about 2 to 3 inches wide, and these are what are going to make the ruffles on the lampshade. So just continue this process until you've cut all of the remaining burlap into strips. Now you're just going to take all of those strips that you cut and you're going to fold them in half, and then you're going to iron them in half. And I forgot to say this before, but nothing really needs to be even when you're cutting out the strips or when you're ironing, because that is what's going to make the lampshade have dimension to it. If you cut everything super even and make sure all the lines are straight, all the ruffles are going to look the same and it just doesn't look that good on the lampshade. So you're just going to iron all of these strips in half. Now it's time to actually start adding the ruffles. What you're going to do is add the hot glue to the crease that you created with the iron, and then you're just going to start gluing on the strips really in any little formation that you would like. Just make sure that you glue each strip going the opposite direction of the one before, and kind of just different ways and directions. That's really what's going to create the design. So you're basically just going to repeat that process all over the entire lampshade. And this did kind of take me a long time. I think it took about like an hour and a half. So I just recommend taking a couple breaks while doing it because it does get a little tedious, but the finished product is honestly so cute. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Once you're all done gluing, this is what the lampshade will look like. But lastly, you want to take the scissors and cut any excess strings of the burlap off of the lampshade. Now you're all done. My actual lamp I got on sale at Target, but they have them at IKEA for the same price. And as you can see, the lampshade turned out really well and I absolutely love it. Next, I'm going to show you how to make this coffee bean candle holder. It's really cute and it smells amazing too. First, you're going to need any glass container, vase, or jar, some coffee beans of your choice, and lastly a candle. I recommend vanilla because it goes best with the scent of coffee. This DIY is super simple, so all you're going to do is simply add the coffee beans to the glass container. Don't fill it up too much because you are going to place the candle in the middle. So now you're just going to place the candle in the middle of the coffee beans, and then you're going to light your candle and enjoy the smell of fresh coffee in your room. The last DIY is this floral Chanel canvas. First, you're going to need a canvas. Mine is 8 by 10 for reference. You're going to need these indoor sign labels, which are basically just sticker paper, and I got mine from Big Lots. You're going to need a Chanel logo printed on that paper. I will have the link down below where I got it. Some paint of your choice. I chose Martha Stewart Metallic in gold. A paintbrush or an old eyeshadow brush. I don't really use this one, and the paint will come off. An X-Acto knife, and be sure to be very careful with this. Some fake flowers. This part is optional if you want to create a little flower border on the canvas. And lastly, you're going to need a cutting board. First, you're going to begin to cut out the Chanel logo in order to make a stencil that you're going to use to paint the actual canvas. Like I said, be very careful with the X-Acto knife. Once you're all done, you're going to remove the center, but don't forget that you also need that little center piece for the Chanel logo. That's very important. That little centerpiece right there. Now you're just going to peel off the back of the label, and be careful because this can be a little bit tricky and we don't want to rip the stencil. Now you're just going to take that stencil and make sure that you get it nice and centered on the canvas. This may take a few tries, but once you do find the exact spot you want it, go ahead and press down. And just simply repeat the same process for the centerpiece of the logo as well. Now you're just going to go ahead and start painting your logo. If the little label bubbles up, just kind of hold it down with your finger so you don't get any paint that makes the actual logo uneven. And then you're going to go back in and paint on with a second coat of paint. Once you've let that dry for a few hours, it is time to add the flowers to the canvas. First, you're simply going to remove all the flowers from the stems. Now you're just going to arrange the flowers so you know where you would like to glue them onto the canvas. Now I'm just going to take my glue and glue on all the flowers. So you're just going to place some glue on the back of the flower and then glue it to the canvas. Pretty simple, so just repeat this process for all of the flowers. Once you're all done gluing the flowers, just let them dry for about an hour. And here's what the finished floral Chanel canvas looks like.